Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. It's Gazetta, innit? I was going to say it's a paper talk, but it's not. It's Gazetta. It's a Sunday. Happy Easter as well, by the way, to everyone out there, whether you bother with that or not. It's an excuse to eat loads of chocolate, so count me in. We're going to get straight into it anyway. We're going to go through the papers. Usually it's Adam McCall that does this. He's away showing the world his poker skills, but he'll be back next week. Don't worry about that. So we'll go through the papers, as you'd expect, dominated, as always, by Manchester United news. United, obviously, winning against Everton at Old Trafford yesterday. A pretty solid performance, even being honest. I thought there was some very good performances. There was some okay performances. I thought Bruno Fernandes was phenomenal. And it was good to sort of get a sort of almost routine win. We didn't have to sort of worry about it too much. Yes, we could have maybe finished our chance a little bit better, but I thought Jordan Pickford did very well. And in the end, 2-0 at home to Everton. No dramas. We'll take that. Right, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of what's on the back pages, and I'll get into some of the quotes from yesterday as well, because it sort of ties in with it. Now, the big story on the back, I think it's on the back of the Star, but it's been covered elsewhere as well, is this one. £50 million Big Mac. This here says that Newcastle will have to cough up 50 million quid to get their hands on unsettled Manchester United star Scott McTominay. So there you can see, in case you didn't get a chance the first time round. Now you might go, really? Is that going to happen? But it's not just that paper that is saying it as well. There's other papers talking about the fact that Scott McTominay could be on his way out of Old Trafford. I think it's the Mirror say, Mr. Angry shows Ten Hag what playing for United really means to it. McTominay obviously opening the scoring yesterday. Good to see Andy Martial getting on the score sheet as well. Adam McCullough will be buzzing about that. He's a big fan of Tony M. And, listen, I like Martial. I've always liked him. The only issue is his injury record and a bit of consistency there over the last few seasons. He had a really, really good season, didn't he, a few seasons ago. Hardly played last season. Obviously, when London didn't work out. This season, he's been injured for most of it. It's just that, can you rely on him? It's a question. But certainly, when he does play, he's very effective, as he was against Everton. Yeah, there's also here, the Mirror have got the McTominay story as well. You can see it there. Scott's no steal for the Magpies. They're saying 50 million as well. So 50 million seems to be the figure being bandied about. And there seems to be something in that, because if it was one paper, you might go, okay, are they even right? Have they got it wrong? But when it's two, you go, all right, there's something going on here. And we've had this a few times, haven't we? That Scott McTominay's been linked with Newcastle. And a little birdie tells me on the ITK that Scott McTominay, someone was telling me that he was pictured chatting to, is it Amanda Staveley at St. James's? And he seems to be quite friendly and sort of friendly conversation. So I don't know if you can look into that. I don't really care too much about those sorts of things. But there's certainly something in the McTominay to Newcastle story. Get involved in the chat in the comments, because it's weird how just a couple of performances can change people's opinion. Some people might be looking at it going, you know what? He's had a decent week with McTominay. And also, when you look at what he's done for Scotland, should we be keeping him? A few weeks ago, I think no one, well, not no one, but most people would have been saying, if you can get some money for him, get him out the door. Let us know what you think. Do you think we need to move him on? I think if we are going to bring in some of the players we want to bring in, and if we can't afford to do it without selling, we have to sell some players who are good. And he'd maybe fall into that category where you can't just sell players that never play for Manchester United. You're not going to get much money for them. If you're just selling the likes of, no disrespect to the kid, but you're just selling the likes of Phil Jones and say, I don't know, Jack Butland or Tom Eaton, you're not going to fetch any money for that. But if you are going to go down the route of the likes of Maguire, the likes of Scott McTominay, maybe Martial, someone like that, those three players, for example, would probably bring in, I think, around at least 90 to 100 million quid between the three of them. That funds other transfers. Talking of other transfers, Bayern no bidding war to get Kane. This is on the back of the sorry, I'll scroll and put it up. There it is. Can you see that there? There you go. I'll scroll and put it up a little bit. It's the back of the Mirror. Basically, it's saying that Bayern Munich won't be going into a bidding war with Manchester United to sign Harry Kane. Now, it's got a quote here. Asked if Bayern Munich would pay 100 million euros for a player for the first time, the club's chief financial officer, Dr. Michael Diedrich, said, I don't rule anything out, but can we afford such a transfer? And do we want such a transfer? We have to keep an eye on our profitability. It doesn't seem like they want to get into a bidding war where it says here, pole position, Ten Hag is after a world-class striker. So it seems like Manchester United have moved into pole position for Harry Kane. We've been hearing this a lot lately, that United, are in for Kane and there's something going on there and talks have already begun and it's looking like the main transfer target is Harry Kane. Listen, I've said it all the time. I would love to see Harry Kane on Trafford. I think he can help us win a title. My first choice would probably be Victor Osimhen, just because of the fact he's got a few more years left in him. But I certainly wouldn't be complaining if Harry Kane signed for Manchester United. It gives me a little bit of Robin Van Persie vibes. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you want. I just want to get into this story here. Legend Robson in car crash. I saw this in what paper is this? The Mail, and I nearly had an heart attack. It says Manchester United legend Brian Robson was involved in a minor car crash as he drove to watch his former club beat Everton yesterday. Now, I love Brian Robson, all-time hero, but when you sort of read between the lines, it's not that serious from what we gather. It was just a little bit. His Mercedes was shunted from behind, causing damage to the boot and rear bumper. So hopefully Robbo's okay. We wish him well. But when I first saw that headline, I would have been in bits if that was very serious. And thankfully, it looks like it isn't. Just going into yesterday's game as well, Scott McTominay and the Express getting praise again. Sparkler Scott, too hot to handle for hero keeper Jordan. Yeah, it's talking there about how Jordan Pickford had a great game, but, Manchester United and Scott McTominay were too hot to handle for him. Also here, we've got in the Mail the fixtures for the top four, how that's lining up. United have got Forest away, Spurs away, Villa at home, Brighton away, West Ham away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home. That Spurs game's looking like the big one there, innit? Newcastle have got Villa away, Spurs at home, Everton away, Southampton at home, Arsenal at home. That's a big one for them. Leeds away, Leicester at home, and Chelsea away. So there's quite similar-ish sort of games there for us in Newcastle. I know they've obviously got Arsenal at home. Spurs, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, obviously. United at home. So Spurs have got to play Newcastle and us. So it looks like that's going to be the deciding month. I think those games are around the same time as well. Spurs play Newcastle on the 23rd of April and United on the 27th. So that's a big week for those three clubs. Looking at yesterday for the Spurs game, I know I'll sound bitter and people go, oh, Jay, you're always mentioning refs and decisions and all that sort of stuff. I'm sorry. I thought Brighton were robbed. I thought they were. I didn't think it was an handball. I thought that was a penalty for him. I think Spurs got away with it, and the papers seem to agree on a lot of what's being said. Also, Roberto, De Zerbi and Christian Stellini even both got sent off, which was it's a bit funny, isn't it? Both managers getting sent off. I just want to talk quickly on the game yesterday in Erik ten Hag's quotes. He was fuming. He wasn't happy about the fixtures and the way Manchester United have been stitched up with an early Saturday kickoff and a late Sunday kickoff. He says there's not enough time. He said, it's all avoidable. All science and research tells you players need a certain time to recover. Talking about Marcus Rashford as well, he said we have to wait. He doesn't look well. Rashford picking up a groin injury. He was also asked why he played Marcus Rashford. Why not take him off for Martial? He wants to see them two play together. They've barely played together this season. So he wanted to see that, and he was pointing out the fixtures. Now, some rival fans have been like, oh, Klopp said that. Erik ten Hag hardly ever complains. When you look at the injuries United have had this season, you look at some of the suspensions we've had, Erik ten Hag doesn't moan a lot. Now and again, he'll bring it up, like when Andy Carroll was sort of running around the pitch, scything everyone down, and obviously caused an injury to Christian Eriksen. Great to see him back, by the way, yesterday. But he does it. He's not a moaner. And believe me, I've sat in enough press conferences to know when Manchester United managers love to have a moaner. He ain't one of them. But he's right to point this out. And people go, oh, look at him moaning all the time. I don't think he is. And I think if you look at the fixtures United have got, don't forget as well, Manchester United played more games than anyone. We played the extra 2 games in the Europa League. We went all the way in the Carabao Cup. We're still in the FA Cup. And we're still in the Europa. So, potentially we could play more games in basically any other side out there, certainly in the top division. So he's every right to look at it and go, why are we getting stitched up with some of these fixtures? But I know sometimes comments like that don't go well, especially when rival fans are looking at something to have a go at you about. I'll leave it there. Don't forget as well, check out all the post-match reaction from yesterday. You've got Joe, you've got, I think, Housen as well. So you can see that. Andy Tate, of course, is in there. And if you're not doing already, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Back tomorrow with the news outside Old Trafford. I've been Jay Motti. This has been Gazzetta. Have a good Easter. Thanks for watching.